Welcome to the face-off between IBF World Super Featherweight Champion Anthony Cacace and the two-time World Featherweight Champion Josh Warrington. This fight will take place on the Anthony Joshua vs Daniel Dubois undercard from Wembley Stadium on the 21st of September, live on TNT Sports box office.
I know that feeling of winning the world title for the first time.
I just want the best version of Josh. I want to beat the best version of Josh.
Two men absolutely knocking 7 bells out of each other to win glory.
So, Anto, this is your first defence of the IBF world title.
Yep.
Massive performance against Joe Cordina the last time. Underdog getting into the fight. How do you feel about your own performance?
That's the type of performance I needed against the likes of Joe Cordina. He's back foot fighter, slick, fast. I needed to get him, and I think everything went to the T. Huh?
What did you think about Anthony's last performance? I mean, a lot of people probably had him as an underdog going into the fight, but how did you see it?
Well, it was on my accumulator, so he's done me all right there.
Happy days.
But I owe me drink. He did exactly what he needed to do. There were times when, Anto had him hurt, and then, Joe started coming back. Maybe Anto went down a gear, but then he just come back 2 gears higher and put the foot down and closed the show and just did what he had to do to become champion.
Before your last fight, Anto, I imagine it was probably like a last chance saloon going into the fight. Josh, are you in a similar sort of position to that now? At this stage of your career, all the big world title fights you've been involved in, this is a must-win for you?
I think I've always been in that. I think last 5 fights I've been in, it's like, if Josh don't win this, it's done. Us as athletes, we go once, twice a year, the size level. It's not like we get next week to perform and then the week after that, then week after that. We have to be right for one night, but we're still humans. We might have had a bad week in that final week of preparation, a bit of illness. Personal things might come into it, so it might not be right for one night, but don't mean you're finished. So, yeah, people might say, if Josh don't win this one, then it's definitely done. And maybe if I didn't, I would have to step, down a level and build my way back up. But I'm very confident in myself, and I want to see myself winning on September 21st.
You've been an underdog in fights before. You were an underdog against Selby, and you won. You were an underdog against me, and you won.
Yeah.
You're an underdog going into this fight, according to the bookies at this stage. Yeah. That's a normal place for you to be. It's nothing that they're too concerned about. I
think the underdog mentality, it gives me wind at my back. That fear factor is good. I had no fear walking into the fight with Michelle Lara, and he knocked 7 bells at me for 9 rounds. I'm really unsure for that. I had no fear going into Lee, and I boxed differently, but ultimately the fight didn't go my way at the end. I look here, look at me, tattoos, and stuff like that. He's a strong Irish man, I know he's going to be an hard fight, so it gives me that fear factor, but I do believe that's what brings the best out of me.
Both of your records probably don't suggest that you're punchers, but I know firsthand from sparring you how hard you can punch. I know firsthand from fighting you how hard you can punch. You won't be taking anything for granted here going into this fight. I know what's coming here. I know he can punch. I know he can stay in the pocket. I know he can put the pressure on. So I'm gonna be prepared for everything. Everything that he can throw at me, I'm gonna be prepared for it. I'm a world champion now, and I'm gonna do things right, and I'm gonna leave no stone unturned. Is Josh the toughest fight of your career to date? Yeah, I would say so. I would say it has to be, doesn't he? Really? Like, I mean, Joe Cordina wasn't as tough as what it was on paper, in all honesty. But I have a feeling this is going to be the hardest task of my career to date. Obviously, there's different levels of experience in this fight. You're more experienced in world title fights.
Yes.
Some may say you're a little bit more greener. Is that going to play a part in this fight at all? Experience?
As strong as your mind can be, the strongest of minds can often wonder. Anto's got a new lease of life. He's becoming champion again. I know that feeling of winning the belt for the world title for the first time, and he's going to do everything it takes for him to keep hold of that. And if that means changing his game plan, then he will do. It's like a game of poker. He'll have a game plan, I'll have a game plan. Obviously, we're both going to give it absolutely everything to win. I'm very confident I can become a 283 world champion, but I think the biggest winners will come out of it are by the boxing fans.
So you're actually older than Josh.
Yep.
Going into this fight, but in terms of your career, now I'm not saying this, but people have said it, that you may have been in one too many wars. Do you think that may play to your advantage? You've had 18 fights, no real absolute wars where you're having to get up off a canvas or anything like that.
I would say I'm the fresher fighter. Josh had a lot of wars. But also that stick by him, it's experience, and it's being in them type of moments in a fight that really do sculpt you, like as a fighter, and you know, help you with the bigger fights coming and what's ahead. So, you know, you can take that as a negative or a positive. I don't read too much into anything what he says. You know, if he's over the hill, if he's won too many war, it means nothing to me. He's just Warrington, and we're going to have a fight. Is
it important for you to look at this Josh Warrington as the best version there's ever been?
I am. It's the way I'm approaching it. There's no need for me to look at it any differently. He's a quality fighter. He's proved it time and time again, and it would be foolish for me to go in there and think that I'm going to blow him away or I'm going to beat him up. I just know what I have to do, and as Josh was saying, this feeling of being the IBF world champion, you know, being recognised, you know, and everything paying off at this stage of my career, it's not a feeling that I want to let go, you know what I mean? And I'm willing to fight the death, mate. And that's just the way it is.
Love it.
And Josh, super featherweight, new weight division for you. Is it something that you think is going to suit you on fight night?
Most definitely, Carl. I've been saying it a while. My plan always was to move up, and you know, lockdown happened and all that, and then the Lara saga and getting an opportunity against Kiko again has kept me at feather. But certainly going throughout the last Wood camp, with my gym mates, Reece Mould and Maxie Hughes, I was saying, boys, this is definitely the last one. And you know, the lads would be saying, hey, whatever we want now, can't you? As you're moving up. But I've been making featherweight since 2012. You know, probably in them years, probably from 2012 to 2015, I probably could have made super bantam. And then after that, I matured well into a featherweight. But then, have I stayed at featherweight a little bit too long? I don't know, but I have noticed that in training, just being a bit more bigger and having a bit more ease with the weight, I feel a lot better. And you know, as you transition your career and you transition styles, I certainly feel better with a bit more weight. And you know, spar. I've always sparred big lads. You know, I've always sparred to be pushed. So yeah, it's I know sparring, but I'm used to being in there with bigger lads.
Is that concerning for you that he may be a fighter who might have been maybe a little bit dead at featherweight and now he's going to have this new lease of life?
That doesn't worry me. I just want the best version of Josh. I want to beat the best version of Josh for it to be an exciting fight, because that's the way I want it to happen from now. I want to be in good fights, exciting fights, and big names.
Is that important then, the exciting fights? Because obviously, sometimes throughout your career, you would have fights and they were easy, and you would coast and you'd win rounds.
Yeah.
When you maybe could have stepped on the pedal and got rid of someone, but you're just happy to win the fight. Everybody's behind you now, especially at home, Anto. Is it important then to keep the fights exciting?
That's now the main thing. I want to be in exciting fights. It's the styles that I want to fight. I want them to be exciting, good fights with big names.
So I'm going to ask you both this question. I'll go to you first, Josh. How do you see the fight playing out? What happens?
I think it's going to be an exciting fight from first bell to last. I think there's going to be moments of high intensity, a lot of punches thrown. I also think there's going to be moments of a bit of a chess match. A lot of people, you know, see me as just a come-forward fighter, but I know how to read fights and I know how to be adaptable as well. I know Anto can do the same. So there's going to be moments where we're, like say, feeling each other out, not in a sexual way, but in a boxing eye. Two men absolutely knocking 7 bells out of each other to be glory, you know, to win glory.
And Anto, how do you see it going?
It's pretty similar. I agree with the way you see the fight going. You know, there's going to be times where, you know, it's going to be nip and tuck. There's going to be a bit of range. There's going to be times where there's plenty of punches thrown, plenty of hard. You know, we're going to be fighting here. I agree with you, but I'm very confident in myself. You know, as a you, I feel like I'm going to win this fight, and it's for me.
it's genuinely refreshing and nice to see the respect that you have for each other. But what I've also noticed here just doing this is the intensity between both of you. Like, I believe everything you're saying. I think you will have a war with each other. And listen, boys, may the best man win, and good luck to you both.
Come on, Josh.
Come on.
Good luck.